The steady drizzle painted a hazy veil over the city as Emma parked her car outside the corner cafe. The place had once been their sanctuary, the neutral ground where they built dreams over coffee and quiet conversations. Now it was simply a convenient midpoint, chosen not for its memories, but for its obscurity. Her fingers trembled as she grabbed the small cardboard box from the passenger seat. Inside lay fragments of a past she wanted to forget, a worn leather watch, an old flannel shirt that still smelled faintly of cedarwood and cologne, and a dog-eared copy of The Catcher in the Rye with his underlined annotations scrawled in messy ink. Why had she agreed to this? They could have used couriers or just thrown it all away. But no, Jason insisted they meet. For closure, he had said. Closure. As if one last conversation could stitch up the jagged wound he had left. Jason was already there when she entered, seated at a booth near the window. He looked like a ghost of the man she had loved, tired eyes, a forced half-smile. The sight of him ignited a cocktail of anger and longing that made her want to both scream and crumble. "Hey," he said awkwardly as she approached. "Hi," she replied, her voice colder than she intended. They sat across from each other, the box between them like a makeshift barrier. Jason slid a similar box toward her. She glimpsed familiar items, her favorite blue scarf, a Polaroid photo from a beach trip, and a small bracelet she thought she'd never see again. Silence lingered like thick fog until Jason cleared his throat. "Thanks for coming. I figured it was better to do this in person." Emma stared at him, her jaw clenched. "Better for who?" His expression faltered. "Emma, I know I messed up." "Messed up?" she interrupted, her voice sharp. "You didn't just mess up, Jason. You broke me." Her chest heaved with the weight of unspoken pain. Nothing hurts more than being disappointed by the one person who you thought would never hurt you. Jason winced as if her words were physical blows. "I never meant to hurt you." She laughed bitterly. "That's what people always say, isn't it? But intentions don't matter when the damage is already done." Their breakup had been brutal, a slow unraveling masked by forced smiles and empty reassurances. Jason had grown distant, consumed by work and a restless need for something more than their quiet life together. When Emma discovered the late-night messages on his phone, messages from a colleague who seemed to know him better than she did by then, it shattered everything. "It wasn't what you think," he had claimed back then. But it didn't matter what it was. Betrayal had many forms, and Emma had felt it sting deeply. Now, sitting across from him, she saw the remnants of guilt etched into his features. But guilt wasn't enough. "Why did you really ask me here?" she demanded. "Because closure isn't just handing over a box of old junk." Jason rubbed the back of his neck. "I guess I wanted to say I'm sorry. And to tell you I still care about you." Emma shook her head, fighting back tears. "You don't get to care now. Not after everything." Her voice broke, raw and trembling. "You were supposed to be my safe place, Jason. And you ruined that." For a moment, neither of them spoke. The rain tapped insistently against the window, filling the heavy silence. "You're right," he admitted quietly. "I ruined it. And I'll regret that for the rest of my life." Emma swallowed hard, the lump in her throat nearly suffocating her. She wanted to cling to her anger, to let it shield her from the ache in her heart. But it was exhausting, carrying that weight day after day. She exhaled shakily. "Starting today, I need to forget what's gone," she whispered, more to herself than to him. "Appreciate what still remains, and look forward to what's coming next." Jason looked down, his shoulders slumping under the weight of her words. I hope you find happiness, Emma. You deserve that. She stood, gathering her box and what was left of her dignity. I'll find it, she said firmly. And this time, I won't let anyone take it away. Without another word, she turned and walked out of the cafe, leaving Jason and the fragments of their past behind. The rain had eased into a gentle mist, and as Emma stepped onto the slick pavement, she felt lighter, as if the storm within her had finally begun to clear. Closure wasn't in the boxes they exchanged. It was in the decision to let go.